The graphics card or GPU is one of the most important components when it comes to your gaming performance. So if you want to save up some money on your graphics card and still achieve an amazing level of performance, then I recommend you buying from the used market. But there are so many options in the used market, and also some of them are not very reliable. For that reason, I made this video. I will rank the best used market graphics cards for 1080p, 1440p and even 4K resolution, going from the cheapest one to the most expensive GPU. The link to each graphics card will be down below in the video description with the latest prices and availability. My name is Valentino. That being said, let's start. The first one is the RX 5700 XT from AMD, and in my opinion, this is the best budget graphics card in the entire used market. On average, it performs like the RTX 3060 from Nvidia, which will allow you to play basically any game that you want at 1080p resolution, high to ultra settings with no issues, even the high demanding titles. This graphics card is about 68% cheaper than its MSRP. That being said, if you are looking to spend less than $150 on a graphics card, that will be perfect for 1080p resolution. And by the way, you can also use this graphics card for some 1440p resolution gaming. But if you're going to be playing games like GTA 5, Valorant, Minecraft, then 1440p resolution is definitely doable even on high to ultra settings. So if you are building a new computer for 1080p high to ultra settings, or even 1440p if you play easy to run games, or just any esports shooter and expect around 144 plus FPS on average, this graphics card is going to be perfect for you, especially if your budget for the entire system is going to be around 500 to 600 bucks. The next one is a bit more expensive, but it's going to be ideal for 1440p on a budget, and I'm talking about the RTX 3060 Ti. Now, this graphics card is a pretty good 1440p graphics card, once again on a budget that can also be used for 1080p very high FPS. The only bad thing about this GPU is that it only comes with 8 gigs of VRAM, so if you are thinking of playing the latest, most high demanding titles at 1440p resolution on high to ultra settings, this graphics card is not going to be ideal for you. But if you are okay with turning down the settings at 1440p in those very high demanding games, let's say you want to play at medium to high settings, or if your favorite games do not require more than 8 gigs of VRAM at 1440p even on ultra settings, then this GPU is going to be perfect, because the level of performance that you can achieve at 1440p is actually pretty decent. So again, I recommend you buying this graphics card if you either want a 1080p very high FPS gaming experience, or if you want to play at 1440p with a very decent level of performance. But once again, just keep in mind that it has 8 gigs of VRAM, so I would highly recommend you searching your favorite game and the settings that you want to play at, and then seeing if there are any issues with the VRAM. There are not, then the 3060 Ti is a perfect GPU for you. This GPU can be found for as low as $215 by the time of filming, which is about 46% cheaper than its MSRP, and it compares with GPUs like the RX 6700 XT in terms of the level of performance, and the 6700 XT is a $300 graphics card. And before we get into the best 1440p used graphics card in the list, I want to say that if you are finding valuable information so far, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. That way you get notified when I upload new content and you get to learn more about computers. Now, the best 1440p performing GPU in the used market is the RX 6800 XT. If you want to play at 1440p resolution with no VRAM issues, this is going to be the ideal graphics card. Now, it doesn't matter which type of game you play at 1440p, because the 6800 XT is a 1440p Ultra GPU that's going to be perfect even for the most high demanding titles. And since you get 16 gigs of VRAM, there's no game that you can't run on ultra settings, and don't worry, you will not be running into any VRAM issues. And even at 4K resolution, you can play most games 60 plus FPS depending on the exact game and depending on the settings. If you want to play a very high demanding title, then I would recommend you turning down the settings to medium and turn on FSR, which is the upscaling technology from AMD, for you to achieve a smoother level of performance. If you want to play easy to run games at 4K, even at 4K resolution, you can play on high to ultra settings and achieve an amazing level of performance. Now, the 6800 XT brand new goes for 430 bucks, but on the used market, it can be found for as low as 350 bucks, meaning that you get an 18% discount on the same GPU. Now, keep in mind that the price might be different, and maybe when you're watching this video, the 6800 XT is more expensive than $350 on the used market, or maybe it's cheaper. So for that reason, I highly recommend you checking the links down below in the description for you to check the latest pricing and availability. Now, if you prefer Nvidia GPUs over AMD ones, then I recommend you getting the RTX 3080 from the used market as well, which is going to perform slightly faster than the 6800 XT in terms of gaming performance, and you get the DLSS, which is the upscaler from Nvidia, and it works better than FSR. So let's say you want to play at 1440p ultra settings in high demanding games and you end up turning on DLSS quality, well, it's just going to look better than turning on FSR, and it's going to be faster in terms of performance as well. But you have to be aware of two things here. The first thing is the VRAM. The RTX 3080 comes with 10 gigs of VRAM compared to the 16 gigs of VRAM from the 6800 XT. If your favorite games or programs are going to require more than 10 gigs of VRAM, then there's no doubt I wouldn't recommend you buying this GPU, and I would strongly recommend you buying the 6800 XT, or if you want an Nvidia graphics card, unfortunately you will have to spend more money. Now, on the other hand, if your favorite programs and games do not require more than 10 gigs of VRAM, then perfect, because the 3080 is going to be a really decent option for you in that case. But the second thing that you have to be aware of is the price. The 3080 goes for $380, which is about $30 more expensive than the 6800 XT for about the same level of gaming performance on average. So those are my best picks for the used market, and you might be wondering why I do not recommend more GPUs for 4K resolution, and the reason is very simple. 4K GPUs are quite expensive on the brand new market and in the used market. Let's take for example the RX 7900 XT, which is an amazing 4K graphics card that can be used for 1440p very high FPS as well. The 7900 XT can be found for $630 on the used market, and in the brand new market you can find it for $680, which is $50 more expensive. And when you are already spending $630 on a graphics card, you might as well spend $50 more and get a better warranty, and of course a more reliable GPU that is less risky. And the trend continues with any high-end GPU. So if you are thinking of buying a graphics card for 4K and you want a high-end level of performance for either 4K or 1440p very high FPS, then I recommend you going for a brand new graphics card instead of searching in the used market. Now, if you want to buy a brand new graphics card instead of going for a used one, you will find my video on the best graphics card for all budgets and resolutions in the top right corner of the screen, where I break down in detail why you should pick those graphics cards for 1080p, 1440p and 4K, and also which ones to avoid if you don't want to get scammed. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.